Hi, glad to meet you. My name is Brooke and I'm 22 years old. Jeremy, my husband, is 33 years old and we rent an apartment in Doral, a small town near Miami where we live right now. Jeremy is a truck driver while I work as a nurse. We met for the first time at the hospital where I worked in the nursing ward and he worked in the executive building. After going out together for 2 years, we chose to move in together. We got married pretty quickly. Life with each other has always been stable because we were both focused on our jobs and making plans for the future. We've been married for 5 years now, and there have been many ups and downs along the way. My life was very different before I met Jeremy. I loved being single and going out with friends almost every night. I loved how exciting nighttime was. I loved getting noticed everywhere I went and enjoying every moment. I always had someone to hang out with, and I never had to think about getting home. But even with all the fun, something more important was going on. During nursing school, where most of the students were women, I started to notice that I liked women. I became interested in my peers and often looked up to my friends with a new and exciting kind of curiosity. After an event with a close friend at a party one night, everything changed. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. It brought out a side of me I hadn't fully understood. I've learned more about this part of myself since then. After all these years, now that I'm happily married to Jeremy, I sometimes think back on those parts of my life and the things I learned from them. I didn't have to make any promises, so I could do whatever I wanted. Even though I love my husband very much, there are times I miss having the freedom to say what I want. I carry it alone because I don't know if or how to tell him about it. It's become a silent load. Our marriage has settled into a calmer, more stable pace over time. Early on, the excitement gave way to habit, and at first, I thought that was normal. But as time went on, it got harder and harder to get used to this new situation. I tried telling Jeremy about our dreams in an effort to get our relationship excited again. I even hoped he would suggest adding another woman, which is a dream I know a lot of guys have. He would always say the same thing when I brought it up, though my dream was enough for him. It was a thoughtful and kind answer, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for. It missed that sense of adventure and something new. When we saw a pretty woman, I casually tried to get Jeremy's attention by complimenting her looks, hoping he'd feel the same way. But he always ignored it or said something vague like, "Yeah, she's pretty." This started to bother me over time as I realized we were no longer on the same page. I wanted something stronger, a spark that I couldn't find in our marriage. I didn't think it was fair to complain because Jeremy had always been a good, loving, and loyal husband. I knew him. Because I knew Jeremy loved me, I didn't even think about what other people might do when they're unhappy in their marriage. Unhappiness was still there, just below the surface. As I watched movies online one day, something caught my attention and made me curious in a way I hadn't expected. It was a video of a beautiful woman who recorded her conversations with other women's husbands to see how loyal they were and then showed the results. It was me, but I couldn't help but think about how my own husband would act in the same position. As this thought began to form, I began to picture what it might be like for Jeremy to be tempted. Just to see if he would go too far, I thought about paying someone to slightly flirt with him and get him interested. I wasn't expecting to be so interested in the idea of watching him have a private chat with another woman. Soon, my interest turned into something I couldn't avoid, and I even started looking for more videos about situations like this. Although Jeremy drove all day and I worked long shifts as a nurse, our apartment was often a mess because we didn't have time to keep it clean. On my days off, I didn't want to do anything but rest. After that, a different thought began to form. I chose to talk to a pretty woman I found on a dating site about both problems at the same time. Amanda was her name. She was a redhead with fair skin who stood about 1.6 meters tall and had a slim waist, beautiful curves, and a sweet smile. She looked perfect for my plan. "Hi Amanda, my name is Brooke," I said to introduce myself. "I saw your name on the site and would like to ask you a few things." She quickly replied with a warm and friendly voicemail that said, "Hi darling, I'm great. How are you? How can I help?" It was easy for us to talk, and I told her I wanted to hire her to clean my apartment twice a week, but with a twist. To see if Jeremy would be faithful, her main job would be to use her charm to see if he'd fall for it. I told her I'd help clean, but Jeremy was the main thing on my mind. Amanda loved the idea and thought it would be a fun and almost new journey. I was sure she was the right person for the job because of how excited she was. She gladly agreed and even asked to take a picture of us. When I sent her a picture of Jeremy and me, she replied with compliments that surprised me and hints that she was interested in me too. I skillfully got the talk back on track by making it clear that the whole thing was about my husband. While I thanked Amanda for the compliment, I told her that the main goal was to make a test for Jeremy. We kept talking and worked out the last details of the plan. I told her to wait until the next day to confirm because I needed to talk to my husband about the idea of getting someone to help me clean first. I was going to tell her she was my best friend's cousin who had just moved to the city and needed work right away. I thought giving Jeremy some background might make him more receptive to the idea. I only had to wait for the right time because I had everything planned out. I didn't have to work that day, so I stayed home and planned everything until Jeremy got back from his rides. When he finally got there, I tried to look calm even though my heart was beating fast. As we sat on the couch, I lightly mentioned how hard it was to keep the house clean because of how busy our lives were. I brought up the idea of hiring someone to help and said that Amanda, my best friend's cousin, needed a job right away. I paid close attention to Jeremy's answer and hoped he would agree right away because everything depended on it. I said that getting help would let us come home and relax without having to worry about cleaning, which made it sound like it would be good for both of us. I told her that if someone cleaned, we'd have more time to spend together, whether it was going into the movies or out for dinner, because we wouldn't have to think about doing chores around the house all the time. I also said that the service would be cheap to show what a great deal it was, even though only Amanda and I knew what was really at stake. She did charge by the hour, but this deal was for a lot more than just cleaning. Jeremy seemed pleased at the thought of not having to worry about keeping the apartment in good shape, and he agreed right away. His lack of doubt made me even more sure that the plan was going as planned. Our talk was short because everything was ready for the next step. He got straight from dinner to the shower and then to bed without saying much. It was clear he was tired. I waited a moment to be sure he was in that deep, sound sleep that only came from being tired. I got out of bed quickly, grabbed my phone, and went to the living room to send Amanda a voice message. It worked, he agreed. My heart was racing. Let's do this. Can you come over in today's? We'll both have that day of, it's my turn. I want you to look beautiful when you get here, like only you can. I went back to bed after sending the message because I knew I had to get up soon for my hospital shift. I saw a message from Amanda early the next morning. As usual, I got up before Jeremy did and went straight to the shower. I got ready for the day by letting the hot water run over me. My mind was full of ideas about what was going to happen. I quickly put on my hospital outfit after taking a shower, went downstairs, and made coffee for Jeremy. I left everything ready for him when he woke up. Before I left, I took one last look at him. He was still sound asleep, and I was nervous and excited at the same time. I read Amanda's message on my way to the hospital. She was thrilled that everything had worked out and was fully on board with the plan. I couldn't hide the excitement that was going through me too. I couldn't wait to meet Amanda in real life. Her Instagram pictures made her look beautiful. As the day at the hospital went on, I kept thinking about our plan, and with each hour that went by, my excitement grew. In the end, when my shift was over, I went right home to relax after a long, heavy day. When I walked in, I was pleasantly surprised to see Jeremy cooking dinner in the kitchen. He was happy and sweet. There was a bottle of wine and some cold cuts on the table, and he was making one of my favorite meals, steak with fries. My tiredness and worrying went away as soon as I saw it. It felt like a little paradise. After a quick shower to get rid of the day's tiredness, I put on some easy clothes and sat down with him. The room smelled great because dinner was cooking, making it feel warm and welcoming. We laughed and talked while we ate. He told me funny stories from his job as a truck driver, and I told him about my busy day at the hospital. It was a wonderful evening, a calm break from all the waiting I'd been doing, and I was able to enjoy the present with him. We went to the bedroom after dinner, and I gave him my whole self. I was a little tipsy from the wine, and as I lay there with my husband, I couldn't help but think about how excited I was for what was to come. Many thoughts of Amanda were going through my mind. I was interested in what she would be like in real life and if my plan would work. I was excited to see how my husband would react to her being there. These thoughts kept going through my mind until I couldn't hold them back any longer. We slept together and woke up in the morning still holding hands. As the first light of the day came into the room, we got up early and took a shower to feel better. After making a simple but tasty breakfast, we sat down in the living room to watch a show and enjoy the quiet. The buzzer then went off. I was sure of who was at the door and what was going to happen. I looked at my husband and asked him to answer the door. I felt nervous and excited at the same time. He got up, but he had no idea that what was about to happen would change our day. My heart beat faster with each step he took. This was it. The moment I had been planning and picturing was finally here. With all of her charm and confidence, Amanda was about to walk right into our lives. I got up from the couch when my husband opened the door because I was excited to see Amanda in person. She was even more beautiful than I thought she would be. Her polished look and natural charm made my heart skip a beat. Amanda walked in with a lot of confidence, and her bright smile and eyes lit up the room. She gave my husband a warm hug right away, as if they had known each other for a long time. "You must be Jeremy, right? What's up?" she asked in a friendly, upbeat voice. "Brooke has said such nice things about you." Jeremy was surprised by how nice she was and how captivating she was, but he calmed down and smiled back. He laughed and told her she didn't have to call him Mister. He also joked that he looked younger than he was. He called me over to join them after the door was shut. Even though I was nervous and excited at the same time, I walked toward them. Amanda gave me a sly smile as I walked up to her. Her eyes were sparkling with knowledge of the plan we had made. Amanda looked at me like she was about to say something brave, and I felt ashamed as my face turned red. "Hi, Amanda. It's great to see you." While I hugged her, I tried to keep a relaxed, friendly tone. "Welcome to our house. You're a treat, you know," she whispered softly in my ear as our bodies touched. Her words shocked me and sent a chill down my spine, and I wasn't sure how to react. My husband looked at me with worrying when he noticed that I seemed uneasy all of a sudden and asked if I was okay. I tried to keep my cool, so I just nodded and quickly gave a reason. "I'm fine, love. I just have a headache." "It's probably from being too tired from work yesterday." He seemed to understand, so he turned back to Amanda and asked if she could work twice a week, which would be great for us. Amanda, who was always upbeat, agreed that 2 days a week would work great for her. I chose to set the scene because I could tell everyone was in a good mood. "Great job, Amanda." I kept my tone light, I replied. "Give me a quick tour of the apartment, Jeremy. He can show you each room and the service area so you know how everything works for the cleaning." My husband, who was always willing to help, agreed right away and offered to show her around. I thought this was the right time to take a step back and let them talk and get to know each other better. Amanda gave him a warm smile, showing that she liked the idea. The tour then began. As I sat in the living room, my heart was racing with excitement as I thought about what was about to happen. It would work out better for the plan if Amanda could be more natural and at ease around him. As I waited in the kitchen, my worry grew, but so did my belief that everything would go as planned. We started talking about what to do next when they finally came back. We talked about what Amanda would do and where she would begin. While I showed her the cleaning tools, my husband went back to the couch. As soon as I got there, I joined him and we went back to watching our show as if nothing had happened. At the same time, Amanda, who was always happy, moved around the flat with grace, showing off her beauty and charm. I saw my husband quietly watching her with bright eyes, especially when she looked in the living room. Amanda was cleaning with her back to us and her back to the TV. Her small, tight black underwear showed. People couldn't help but notice that this was probably done on purpose as a sneaky way to get their attention. My husband was clearly interested. He had his eyes fixed on her the whole time. The sight made my heart race, and I loved seeing how he reacted. Even though we hadn't done anything yet, we had to keep a normal front because it was her first day and we had to be quiet. The goal was to make a space where getting closer could happen easily without making people suspicious. It was very quick to clean up, and then it was time for lunch. To keep things easy, we ordered takeout. When it came, we all sat down together. The food was great, and everyone at the table was having a good time. With her charm and easygoing way of talking, Amanda got my husband and me talking about his job and his experiences as a truck driver, which was something he always loved talking about. When Amanda was interested in what he had to say about his work, it made him feel even better about talking about it. Amanda gave my husband exactly what he needed, someone to listen to him with attention. The chat went smoothly, and he seemed truly at ease, enjoying the extra attention. Amanda said goodbye and promised to come back for her next visit after the meal and some lighter conversation. We had a nice goodbye as we walked her to the door. As she walked away, I felt both happy and excited. It was like we had taken the first step forward successfully. When we got back to the living room, my husband and I started talking about the visit. He was excited and praised Amanda for being helpful and efficient. I kept the tone light and agreed with him without letting on that I was happy with how things were going. Soon after, he excused himself to go to the bathroom, saying that the spicy lunch might have made his stomach upset. I quickly grabbed my phone and texted Amanda, "Hi, Amanda." As soon as he left, "Thanks so much for today, you were great. He keeps telling me how nice and interesting he thinks you are, and I'm really happy about you. Feel free to be a little braver next time, he will love it, I'm sure." After sending the message, I excitedly awaited a reply and my mind focused on the plan that was coming together. I leaned back on the couch and looked up at the sky. As I did, my mind wandered to how the relationships between the three of us would change over time. There were so many fantasy worlds in my head that I passed out on the couch. When I woke up, my husband was sitting across from me. He had a sad and angry look on his face. I got a chill from the look on his face because I didn't know what had happened. I tried to act casual as I sat up and moved closer to him. "Hey love, is everything okay? I think I fell asleep here." "What's wrong with you? What took place?" I asked, trying to hide how uncomfortable I felt. After that, he explained. "You were already asleep when I got out of the bathroom. I didn't mean to wake you up, but your phone lit up while I turned off the TV. I quickly looked over and saw Amanda's post. There was a part that I had to read. It said she would do anything to see my daughter. Tool. How could you invite that person into our home and set me up like that?" His words stopped me in my tracks. He knew everything. That shocked me. I tried to tell him it wasn't what he thought, but he looked even more upset. He then revealed that he had unlocked my phone and read the entire conversation. I felt a surge of anxiety over the invasion of my privacy, but I knew I couldn't complain, given the circumstances. I couldn't stop what was happening. He continued, visibly angry, calling me crazy and saying I needed help for my fantasies and desires. The situation escalated quickly, and without another word, he stormed into the bedroom, packed a bag, and left the apartment. I remained on the couch, trying to process everything, overcome with guilt and despair. The plan that had seemed so thrilling had turned into a nightmare, leaving me alone in the suffocating silence of the apartment, confronting the reality of my choices. It's now been exactly 5 days since he left. I'm lost, uncertain of what will become of our marriage or my future. I paid Amanda and explained everything. She felt guilty, but I assured her that the responsibility was mine. I know now that I should have talked openly with him, even if he might not have accepted it. Now, I'm left not knowing what to do or how to move forward.